Good evening, everybody. Welcome and long to another round of the Simracersworld TCR Series Season 3. And as you can see, well, we're here at Mount Panorama, also lovingly known in the world of Bathurst, basically. It's a hell of a challenging circuit, and it's going to be a hell of a challenging night for these drivers. And what we're going to do is make things very challenging for each other, as last week we couldn't stop laughing. Peter MacKay joins me in the box once again. Peter, how are you, my very good friend?
Well, I'm very, very well indeed, and I'm kind of feel a little bit shortchanged at the moment, Chaz, because unfortunately not spending as much time out on the road with, of course, us being in lockdown at the moment, means I don't get to add to my list of Audi driver stereotypes. But maybe tonight we're going to see some more on what an Audi driver stereotype is down under.
Indeed. Hopefully we can see that. You never know, they might represent the fact they're in Australia by driving upside down, but we will have to see. Now, there is, of course, some very big news, and if you look at the very top of your timing on the left-hand side, everybody, you will see that this man, Corentin Guinez, reigning champion of the Simracersworld TCR Series, or the Simracersworld TCR Winter Series, of course, the Z1 dashboard-sponsored series we did over winter. The reigning champ is back for HM Engineering, and he is certainly making his mark already. He is a second clear at the top of the standings at the moment, and he is back to try and defend that title. It's a mega thing to see him back with us, isn't it, Peter?
It's absolutely superb. Yeah, I mean, Corentin really was the standard driver during the Winter Series. He really just had the edge in the competition all the way through, and he was chased hard all the way by Damien Owen Harris and Bran van Putten. Now, no sign of Bran van Putten this season, but we do have Damien Owen Harris, of course, who had a kind of up and down day at VIR a week ago, and there's a few drivers with a score to settle out there at the mountain today. And actually, we're looking at qualifying right now, of course, a group qualifying session here in the Simracersworld TCR Series. Now, look who is following behind Corentin Guinez, who is getting a tow of his teammate, Fraser Smith, right there as well. And Fraser's not daft. He's there in the number 4 car, and I think he's picking up a nice draft. So we'll need to see what Fraser Smith can do, and also Miguel Freitas. Now, I actually had a message during the week from Fraser Smith, Chaz. And
no.
No, it was a very pleasant one, in fact. So it turns out he works for The Market, which is a classic car auction, and I'm on the lookout for a wee classic car at the moment. So Fraser tipped me off to some lots that are coming up as well. He did say I'd mentioned, let's just say, a rival car auction site who will now remain nameless. If you can spot it from last week's broadcast, he says, forget that. He says, get on to The Market. So The Market, where Fraser Smith works, if you're in the market for a classic car, give them a call.
Smashing stuff. Love
Captain
that.
Plug wash.
Indeed. In the background, you can see 2 of the Ignium Motorsport machines. Never mind, there's a whole flock of them just come around Hell Corner as well. There's 4 Ignium machines and 3 of the Fiercely Forward cars. This is Damien Owen Harris with his teammate Matthew Crisp right in front of him in the number 18 machine. Just in the background there, we have Jessica Myers in what Peter calls the Cherry Cola machine.
Organmobile as well.
Yes, indeed.
Organmobile.
Hopefully, a better result this week for Jessica. Obviously, had the jump through the air at Virginia International Raceway last time out. Bod Boland is out there in the number 13 machine for Simracersworld Esports. Scotty Angelo back with us for another round in Simtech Racing. And PJ Clayson's in this wonderful liveried Audi RS3. It's a very simple livery, but with the spec map, there you go, I've said it, it just works really nicely with that red, doesn't it, the Team 11 livery?
It does. I feel it. Obviously, I wish I could have the incredible Google server-esque setup that you have in your office at Chaz Draycott Media. Oh, there's another jump. I've got on my Lenovo L340 gaming laptop here, Chaz. I have it turned down to, especially with such a big grid that we have here in the Simracersworld TCR, I have to turn it down to about PlayStation 2 level of graphics. So I'm not appreciating the full spec mapness, but I will do when I watch the broadcast back tomorrow morning.
Oh, indeed. There are some wonderful, wonderful spec maps out there. One of which is actually on Craig Shill's car. Now, a good friend of mine, James Leggett, painted this car, and it's got the iRacing UK logo down the side of it is in complete chrome, and it's just having those little details just helps it stand out. It's a fantastic looking bit of kit. More chrome, of course, on Scott Malcolm's Smile Time Simortal Audi as well. Lovely livery for Team Mad and for Smile Time Simortal, all of them partners together. Chris Daines for Eclipse Racing, this very dazzling dazzle camo machine has been doing the rounds so far this season. Very shiny one indeed. Good to see Chris back out there. Matthias de Tige is currently 5th, just ahead of him and just ahead on track. But talk to me about a lap around Bathurst, Peter, because it's one hell of a scary place to lap, isn't it?
My word, it is, yeah, and this is one of the scariest parts here. Skyline, because, well, you are looking at the skyline. Off you go down the dipper through the S's down towards Forest Elbow, one of the most important, if not the most important corner on the circuit. Through they go left and right and left and right. Hard on the brakes here. Just tuck it in nice and tight and get on the power as early as you can. Now, look at that, Matthias de Tige. Thought he might have got a little bit of a draft there from one of the Fiercely Forward cars, but not so this time. Down we go, down Conrod Straight. John Cleland blew his engine here once in the Bathurst 1000 and very famously swore on live television as well, which endeared them to Australians as well. One thing Australians and Scottish have in common, we do like a good swear every now and again. Down into the chase, we are really lean hard on the brakes there, get it turned in and down towards Murray's corner. Who would have thought that Bathurst and Snetterton would have something in common? The last corner is called Murray's at both of them as well. Then over the start-finish line we go. Try to avoid the grass if we possibly can. And then up towards Hell Corner. And, well, we would, but Matthias de Tige is backed out of this one. Maybe a bit camera shy, perhaps. But yeah, into Hell Corner. Keanu Reeves beef bourguignon, going to show us all the way around here. And then up Mountain Straight. This is where horsepower, it's all about horsepower here. But of course, in the Simracersworld TCR Series, everybody has exactly the same amount. And that's not what you need, someone slowing down in front of you. We're heading up now towards Quarry Bend. Now, Chaz, I feel that the barrier on the outside of this corner, I swear it has magnets in it.
Yes, it's got this really strange effect. You turn in, and when the track comes up in front of you, you expect to feel this mass amount of grip. But the car, for some reason, just mid-corner, I don't know whether it's the surface there or whether it is just the natural incline of the circuit, but it does literally feel like there is magnets there. Every car you drive just does not want to turn in at the top of there, and I do not have a clue why, in all honesty. I mean, through here as well, up over the crest, through McPhillamy Park now. What a piece of driving you've got to get right to get around here. Look at this. You're going all the way over to the right, then you're hitting an apex, all the way over to the right again, over a blind crest to try and find an apex again. Don't turn in too early and hit that wall. Careful on the curb on the right. And then look at that. It's like it literally just goes off a cliff. It's so frightening into Skyline. You've got to love it. What a place this is. I competed in the 12 Hours of Bathurst last year with CQR Club. Ended up qualifying, I think it was 20th. We were 27th by the end of lap 1 because the car in front of us didn't go at the start. And we came back and finished 6th. And to do that, even just to get a top 10 around here, it felt so rewarding. And that's what these drivers are going to have tonight, isn't it? It's such a rewarding track when you just get one lap right.
Absolutely, and that's why drivers love it. You know, often in circuits like the Nordschleife, for example, very, very difficult, very, very easy to get it wrong. But when you do get it right, it's all the more satisfying as well. And I have to say, my favourite section is that double left, Solomon Park, McPhillamy Park, and down towards Skyline. Especially when you're in a car with high downforce and high power. Oh my word, it's so satisfying through there. But of course, the Bathurst 1000, the great race as it's known in Australia, where Holden and Ford go head to head in the V8 Supercar Championship in Australia. And actually, coming up next year, that rivalry will change. It's still going to be Ford versus General Motors, but of course the Holden brand is dying for good. Unfortunately, the Holden brand will be no more, and the Holden or the General Motors presence in the V8 Supercar Championship will be taken up by Chevrolet. They're going to have a Camaro V8 Supercar, and I, for one, I have to say I'm a Ford guy. I'd go for the Mustang every time, but the Camaro is a brilliant-looking car.
It really is, and even in the NASCAR ranks as well, they've done a great job at making the mean face of that Camaro certainly look the part in amongst those sorts of racing arenas as well. I think we're going to see some very strong stuff from that. But I wanted to ask this now, and away from the action we've got going on here, but I need you're a lot more of a professional and a wiser man than myself, and I believe that you may have a good answer to this. With these cars going from, we used to obviously love the Holden Commodores, the Ford Falcons, big four-door saloons. They were proper touring cars. They're getting closer and closer to GT cars now, aren't they? Are you in favour of that, or would you rather them go back to shapes like this Audi that we have here, something five-door?
I think one of the biggest things is that it's got to be relevant to what's being sold on the street. I think that what I would liken it to, actually, is the battle between the Mitsubishi Evo Lancer and the Subaru Impreza in the World Rally Championship. And that was a real golden era for the sport. Also because, obviously, we had two great British drivers with Richard Burns and Colin MacKay, but there was a great rivalry between Mitsubishi and Subaru, and they had two very different ways to get to a very similar result. Sounded different, drove different, but in pace, they're quite similar. In the V8 Supercar Championship, it was very much the same. Like you said, the Falcon or the Commodore was the car that you could buy and drive to work every day. And I think that is still relevant. And, cars like the Mustang now are available in right-hand drive, and you can buy. Okay, the price has gone up a little bit from what it was, but it's still, you can get a really quick car for a really affordable price, and a car with a V8 engine for a start. So I'm all for it, I have to say. I think you've got to be very, very careful to not go down the lines of pure homologation specials. I think that's when things get a little bit out of control and becomes an arms race. But I think it's great that we're still going to have the Ford versus GM battle in V8 supercars, and my biggest concern is that they keep the recipe of what the car is, the hand shifter, the just pulling the lever back towards you. That's just proper cool. And of course, just a V8, like an absolute space shuttle engine in these things as well. It weighs as much as a NASCAR. I mean, the driving challenge of these things, amazing, absolutely amazing.
It really is. But I appreciate your opinion on that, to be fair, and you are very, very correct in the way that it does need to be relatable, because I think I'm not sure whether it was you and I that had the chat, but when you have a car on track, such as these Audis, you can go and buy an Audi A3 saloon, you can buy an RS3 saloon. When you see touring cars on track, such as obviously in the BTCC, you get your Ford Focuses, you get your Honda Civics, you've got your Hyundai i30s. When you see the road car equivalent, one of the first things as a race fan anyway that you think of is that race car. You can relate it visually. I mean, I can see Ferraris and obviously relate the race car, but it's not something you see all the time. It's not something you could genuinely go and buy and go get in. It's a little bit more obtainable, and I think that's part of the importance of it. And like you say, the Mustang has got a lot cheaper in recent years. In relative terms, I see a lot of them around here actually. There's about 3 or 4. There's 2 of them are yellow, one's blue and one's white, all driven by people that are probably called Gareth with tribal tattoos that always wear tank tops and pose in front of the mirror, but still a wonderful car, and it's just a bit more obtainable.
Go to the gym 3 times a day.
Oh god, yeah. And well, they go to the gym 3 times a day just to get a picture for Instagram, and then they don't actually do any workouts, and they just go home. Anyway, Chris Daines is currently powering down the Conrod Straight. Wonderful to see these Audis having their necks wrung down there towards the chase. There's another stereotype off the list for the season. But it looks to me, I don't know whether it's just that livery, but it always looks like the bonnets come up on that livery. You know what I mean?
A wee bit, yeah, absolutely. This one looks like, could we call this the Mario Kart Rainbow Road livery?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
You can get Mario Kart on your mobile phone now, and you can race online.
Oh, you can actually. I was meaning to ask somebody about this, but I tell you what, I reckon we should do that and race each other and see who comes. I
downloaded it last night. Get it done.
Yeah, we will. After the broadcast, we'll give that a go. Whoa, giving it a go in the background, by the way. Mark Woodhouse, go on, son. Whoa, that was a big chuck. Look at this, into hell corner. Back end just gets away mid-corner. Big sideways moment. And unfortunately, doesn't recover it. Now, he thinks, it's probably easier to go back to the pits than do an entire lap before coming round. But will he get chance? Corentin Guinez is still fastest. His teammate Norbert Leitner is in second place, so it's a 1-2 front row lockout for HM Engineering. I mean, carry on as you were, gentlemen. I mean, Corentin comes straight back into the championship, going for a pole position with just over a minute of the session to go. And Norbert, after having a couple of wins in the championship, he's aiming for another one here. So wonderful stuff from him. And their teammate as well, Roman Bokler, he's in 6th. So it really is HM Engineering showing us how it's done here.
Yeah, they are really a leading light, particularly in touring car world as well. Really, really impressive. And well, with Corentin Guinez coming in now as well, joining Norbert Leitner and Roman Bokler, it's of course in the such close battle, the kind of close combat of touring car racing, to have effectively allies is very, very important. Much more favourable to have allies than enemies anyway, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, that's it. You know, you want to play the numbers game. I was commentating on the World GT Championship last night on RaceSpot TV, and there was a moment where we had 4 of the guys from the Pure Sims esports racing team that Ashley Sutton runs, and there was Michael Blake, who we actually have out on track this evening, I believe. I can't see him in the list though, unfortunately. He is there. There he is. Oh, there he goes. But he was in a BMW M4 GT3 last night, the Smile Time Immortal machine, and there was 4 of the, I think there's 12 Pure Sims drivers spread across a couple of teams in that championship, and 4 of them were around him down the straight at Monza. It looked like a presidential car getting an escort, but having that numbers game, all 4 of them got past him in one go, because when it got to the chicane, they just bullied him out of the way. They were 3 wide. One went either side of him at the first chicane, the Rettifilio chicane, and that was it. It was just, again, proving that numbers game is all important. But the numbers that you need to worry about are 1 and 2 at the moment. Corentin Guinez and Norbert Leitner take the front row for HM Engineering. Damien Owen Harris is 3rd, with Fraser Smith in 4th. Tasty 2nd row indeed. Miguel Freitas is 5th, ahead of Roman Bokler, with Mats Borg Anderson in 7th and Chris Daines in 8th. Matthias de Tige lines up 9th, and Matthew Crisp is 10th. And we're getting close to the start now, so I will have to just filter this through very, very quickly for you. But with the short straight here, Peter, a lot of these cars will be round the final corner on the grid. It'll be a bit of a strange experience for some of them, won't it, if they've not had that before?
Yeah, they'll be very glad of the iRacing light system, which every driver has their own effectively set of lights at the top of their screen, so they don't need to worry about not seeing the lights being tucked around about the final corner.
Yeah, indeed. It's certainly a help. It's one of the wonderful advantages of being in the sim, where we can all get our own set of lights above us. But look at this grid once again. Simracersworld banners adorning all of the liveries. And of course, we have a very colourful grid once again this season. Another beauty of sim racing, that, you know, you sometimes get a bit more wacky and bright liveries that you wouldn't see in the real world. It'd just be too much effort for somebody to put it in a wall. Anyway, round 4 of the Simracersworld TCR Series from Mount Panorama is underway. Not such a great launch off the line for Fraser Smith. He's already under pressure from Miguel Freitas. Nice start from the front pairing. The HM Engineering boys will keep on flicking down the order, see if there's any shenanigans. But everybody seemingly behaving themselves so far, Peter. That's always nice to see.
Yes, it absolutely is. The run into hill corner is relatively short, but because it's such a tight corner, it can instigate quite a bit of contact sometimes. And now here we go, we're seeing Miguel Freitas having a look up the inside at Quarry Bends. This is really off camber. You can see that pedigree chum wall ready to take out of the first car that makes a mistake there. But really, actually, this is all relatively after you, sir. So, we've got somebody going slow there now. Is that's Matthew Crisp? What's happened to him? Just got a straight, really slow exit there. Yeah,
I think Matthias... Chris Daines hits the wall. I think Matthias de Tige went down the inside, and it just put him on a really non-preferable line, and he didn't get the run out of there. And I think, fittingly, out of everybody that would go in the wall, we really don't want to see the Corgi mobile go in, do we, over the course of the race? Hopefully the natural instincts of the Corgi on that car do not bring the rear end into the pedigree chum wall, but it does certainly make you laugh every time you go past it, because I believe it may be a little bit out of date now, that sponsorship. Here's Dean Timms, hoping to eclipse his previous results. But look at that, look at them just like a roller coaster down the hill. You could see them in the background as well. They're still winding their way down. It's just beautiful to watch, really is. It's an absolute spectacle around Bathurst, but we're onto the Conrod Straight for the first time.
Yeah, the YouTube homework for all of our viewers tonight here on Simracersworld TV. Just Google Matt Campbell pass for the win, Bathurst 12 hour, I think it was 2019, and he took him past at the Dipper. How on earth there was room, I'll never know, but it is the most extraordinary overtake you'll ever see. Mats Borg Anderson here having a good look up the inside of Matthias de Tige at the chase. Nice and clean and tidy, very, very nice. And actually just checks Matthias de Tige up a little bit, and Kenna Bourguignon says, oh, I'll have a slice of that. And up the inside he goes. Whoop! Oh no! Oh no, it's the McDonald's mobile! Oh, we're not loving that.
Nope. I tell you what, they do say a lot about the local farmers and stuff. I think Jean-Louis Deschamps was on the search for one then. We've got Bod Boland coming into the pits for some reason.
Bod Boland!
Bod Boland! I think number 13 being a bit unlucky for him. Matthew Crisp's had a bit of a strike with something there. Maybe a bit of contact with one of these drivers, but they're certainly having a good fight indeed. But wow, what a wonderful start to the race we've had. We've got Scott Malcolm glued to the back of Daniele Giudici. He's actually alongside him. We'll get to a more useful camera to catch that. Up the straight they go. It just, in these cars, it feels like it lasts forever, doesn't it, up here and down the Conrod as well. But it's probably better for the drivers. They've got more time to think about what's going to go wrong at the next corner.
Yeah, they can put the adaptive cruise control on with the kind of following this adjustment. Oh, 3 wide through Corey Bend. How do you like it? Oh, goodness me. Scott Malcolm goes to the inside line there. Really good to try and protect from, this is, whoa, Scotty Angelo. Daniel Guidici, of course, was our champion in the Academy class in the Winter Series. Now, that's a question for Chaz. Do we have plans to have a similar idea this season?
Yes, I believe after round 3 we're going to get the classes this season. They just try to classify them after a couple of rounds. And oh, there's a car off there. That is one of the Team Mad cars, I believe. It's Mark Woodhouse again. Stud Muffin himself is off and in the wall. Let's try and have a look at what happened here.
Daytime running light's still working though, which is always good. Oh,
that's a big hit. That's a big old hit. And that is broken, very, very broken, unfortunately, for Mark Woodhouse. He's still dragging it down the hill, bit by bit. Thank you, NVIDIA. I knew there's a new driver available. Corentin Guinez still leading the way. I'm not even sure if that showed up on the broadcast then, but apologies if it did. But we've got our top 4. Once again, Fraser Smith behind Damien Owen Harris. Let's see if we get some kindling out here and start a fire. Obviously, a little bit of contact here and there last week. The chat has been alive with these drivers, all giving their own thoughts on the certain incidents. Oh no, we've got Dan Mould running off. Oh, he's lost the back end and been clipped by Jessica Myers. Don't think Jessica could really do much there, but Dan ends up off the circuit, unfortunately. Oh, way up. Lively there. Let's have a look. Oh, he's just gone in a bit hot, hasn't he? On the grass. Back end still going that way. And then off onto the grass after that contact. Oh! What on earth? That was Paul Godden. And he's had a good one. Flipping heck. That was a right moment.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, let's have a look at Daniele Giudici.
Because these cars have ABS.
Yeah, well, it don't feel like it when you're in them, trust me. So Giudici went off.
On the grass.
Is this anything to do with him? No, let's have a look in the background. So Paul Godden. Okay, Dan Mould's going slowly. Oh, Paul just on the grass.
My.
He's so lucky not to hit anything there. Wow. How did he not hit anything?
You can see him holding the brakes down, desperately trying not to. Wall! Hit the wall for Damien Owen Harris. Pancakes the wall, and that is, you just can't get away with that here at Bathurst. That's what makes it so tough. And again, yeah, he must have steering trouble there, and he's going to get big company here from Roman Bokler, who won't want to get stuck behind if Damien Owen Harris has got damage. But 2 big hits to the wall, Chaz, that's definitely going to cause him problems.
It will indeed, and of course it's opened up the gap now to the front too, so Corentin Guinez and Norbert Leitner may feel a little bit more at ease. It's not a massive gap back to Fraser Smith, 1.1 seconds, but I know that just having that little extra bit of buffer in your head will make you feel a bit better. Hopefully Damien Owen Harris can continue. That's a bit of a wide one from Naveed Hussein. We wouldn't expect anything different. Oh, Bram Class giving it a bit of a drift around there. He's saying, watch this, boys. It may be front-wheel drive, but I can slide the thing. Fantastic commitment, though, from these drivers so far. Really pushing hard. And that's the thing. As much as you say to yourself, don't push it too much around here, because it's just walls everywhere. You really have to attack this track, don't you, when you go at it?
You can't help it. It's just too much fun. It's just too much fun just going absolutely flat out. I mean, it's such a challenge around here. I mean, another bit. Oh, as we see Neil Stevenson, is he going to have a look? No, not quite. Hex in the 359 car, able to keep him behind. Fastest lap of the race from Norbert Leitner, 2:18.8. That is not hanging about. And actually, this is quite interesting, isn't it, Chaz? Because these HM Engineering guys, they've created a little bit of an express train here, coupling onto one another and just distancing themselves a little bit from Fraser Smith. And Fraser not quite able to hang on to the pace of these guys. And Corentin Guinez, he's very much the diesel locomotive, doing most of the work right now.
Yeah, he's doing a smashing job. First race back in the championship after taking the title last season. I'm a little bit upset he's not run the number one, but at the end of the day, it's his personal preference. Look at this though. Leitner, he's certainly putting his nose down the inside of it. Little scrape of the wall there from Guinez as well. They're certainly pushing. Fraser Smith is on a mission though. It's now only 0.8 of a second between Leitner and Smith. So Fraser is working hard. Damien Owen Harris so close to that wall again. I tell you what, sometimes you just have to go up there. You don't learn. You really don't learn. You just got to chuck it in. It's great to see. A little bit further back, we've got this little dice going on. We've got Michael Blake just behind Ryan Walker, Lee Bowden just behind him, Jessica Myers just off the back of this train. At the front though, it's Anders Lillijorda in the Sharebox TC Motorsport machine. Apparently the guys weren't too pleased about me comparing it to a McNuggets Sharebox last season, but they saw the funny side. But
that's a high compliment. That's when people get together and there's a real camaraderie about a 20 nugget McDonald's Sharebox, when four people, maybe nursing a bit of a heavy head, a hangover, whatever, they're in desperate times, they've missed the train home, and there's four of them all get around a table to all have a 20 nugget Sharebox each.
I was going to say, yeah, one each, definitely one each. I don't remember a moment in my life where I've shared a Sharebox. It's probably just shared with each compartment of my stomach, I think. But it certainly isn't just for the four. Now, someone that's hoping to get to the four at the moment is Matthew Crisp, but he's under pressure from our favourite Matrix actor, Keanu Bourguignon, putting every bit of that Audi into Matthew's mirrors, or as I heard Mickey Hakkinen say it in a video earlier today, mirrors. Matthias Detige, mirrors. It was just got me. I don't know why, it just really got me. Now Fraser Smith, I said he was charging. Fastest lap of the race for Fraser, 2:18.69. So he certainly is on the charge, and he's going to be hoping to close up to these boys, because don't forget, we're not even halfway through this race yet, Peter.
No, we're not. 20 minutes is actually a bit of a challenge around here at Bathurst, because there's so much peril as you can see. I mean, it is. It's not a permanent racetrack. There is limited amount of racing on this circuit every year, and this is basically a street circuit at this point of the track. The majority of it over the mountain, so narrow, so tight. And if you just make the tiniest error, it can be really detrimental to your chances. And I have to say, Chaz, I'm amazed that Damien Owen Harris has got away with not one but two smacks, and they were pretty heavy contacts to the wall as well. I do not know, either that or he's driving a wounded car at a heck of a pace.
Yeah, he certainly is making the most of it at the moment. This is Ryan Walker side by side with Bram Klaas. He's gone a little bit hot. Oh, the tiniest of touches. And Ryan Walker is in the wall. He lets the car go back to the... I don't know about that. Lets the car go back to the apex. We'll have to have another look here. We'll get the chopper out. So they're going up now to the left, into the cutting. I think there was a bit of netcode in there. Oh, there was a tiny touch, but it's wheel-to-wheel contact in these cars. Locks it up, but look, he just lets it roll onto the apex. Good avoidance, to be fair, from the guys around, but yeah, a little bit naughty there from Ryan. And I think that most people would have preferred him to just hold the brakes and not roll at all. But at the front of the field, it's still close between these pair, but look at that behind now. Fraser Smith is right there on the tail of Norbert Leitner. Damien Owen Harris has got Roman Bokler for company as well. But at the same time, Bokler being teammates of the guys up front, he's going to want to keep that pressure on, isn't he, to make sure that his teammates can just focus on Fraser for now.
Absolutely. I think you have to really take your hat off to Fraser Smith, because he like we talked about it before the broadcast, didn't we? Better to have allies than enemies, and Corrington Queenes and Norbert Leitner have that advantage. They've worked together. They've tried to pull away, but Fraser's done a great job to stick with them. I mean, doesn't have the benefit of a teammate to tow him along. So brilliant that he's able to hang on to that leading pair now, and it's now a leading trio. So let's see if he can make it all the way to the front as they have a drag race up the mountain straight. It seems like an endless drag up the hill here. Matthew Crisp, a wee bit of bump drafting through the middle. That's surely not advisable.
Not with the tempers flared in the Discord this week. That is definitely not advisable.
That's like the virtual Toka bus.
It really is. Really is. But look at this now. Now it's 2x2 once again. We've got Max Borg Anderson in there for company. Matthew Crisp trying to hang it around the outside. Can he make it work on Keanu Bourguignon? He cannot. I noticed that Bram Class had quite the train following him as well. Michael Blake at the head of that. They're going to be side by side now as they start to go up the hill. This is going to get feisty. No, I don't advise 2x2 through here, gentlemen. Trust me. Lee Bowden just behind then. Jessica Myers. Oh, that was good stuff for Michael Blake to get out of the way, but he may have lost a bit of momentum from that. A little bit of a touch there by the look of it on Lee Bowden's car from Jessica Myers. The front already a little bit damaged on the Corgi Mobile, but it gets so close up here. It's phenomenal racing, especially in touring cars. Oh, Bod Boland. Bod Boland has had an issue. What's gone on here? The number 13 is off the circuit. He's chasing number 83, Mark Woodhouse. I think he's just pulling it over.
The wounded soldiers.
Yeah. We don't want to see people giving up. But oh no! That's Dean Timms getting a smack from Jessica Myers. He's going to roll back. Oh, and that's really unfortunate for Neil Stevenson as well. Listen to that on the rev limiter. Oh, heck, that was not advisable. So Dean Timms got the hit. That was as it happened. We'll have to just go back a little bit further, unfortunately.
On board from the Corgi Mobile will be interesting viewing.
I agree, yes. Because I think
Jess is ahead going into the Dipper. So what? Now look on the left. Look on the left.
I wonder. I thought he might have cut Skyline. Oh, look, he gets held up.
Biff.
He's on the left.
Somewhere.
Oh, just wasn't enough room for the two of them there. No. And unfortunately, I mean, Jess was pretty much at the apex, but yeah, real shame.
To put it in perspective, that's where Matt Campbell fitted a whole 911 GT3R up in Aston Martin there. If that makes it even less believable, believe me, I understand. Go back and watch it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, now, speaking of the Toka bus and naughty touring car drivers, Chaz, Jason Plato's back in 2021 for touring cars. Yeah, so bit of spice in the championship again. I like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can't wait to see what Jason can do in 2021. See what feathers can be ruffled. But speaking of ruffling feathers, Fraser is trying to do just that at the moment. So these HM Engineering guys, but they're holding true at the very front of the pack. Interesting top three at the moment. But I think at this stage, with still 5 minutes of this race to go, Fraser just needs to assess what's going on in front of him and just see where he can find a weakness. Now, Roman Beauclerc has got past Damien Owen Harris just a few moments ago. But he's going to be pretty happy still with fifth, is Damien, because that damage, it doesn't look like it's done too much visually to that car, but he certainly had a massive old whack in the wall. And then just behind them, we've got this little battle, Miguel Freitas and Chris Daines going down the Conrod.
Yep, we'll see. You get a good impression here of just how much of a draft effect there is or not riding on board with Chris Daines down towards the chase, a full flat-out corner. And yeah, there you go. There's a good old draft up the inside. Mirror signal manoeuvre, give Miguel a wave on the way by, and through he goes before they even get down to the hard braking zone. Really nice, well set up manoeuvre there. But yeah, Chris Daines, he would have had to get a strong drive out of Forest Elbows to set that one up. Good move though.
Yeah, indeed. It's not easy to get that right, especially not when you're in a battle as well. You try and push the car as hard as possible. It's easy to overdo it. But our top three still very much welded together. There is Fraser Smith in the full Send Racing machine, sorry. Commentating on a team the other day that had Send It Esports as their team name. But not too long left in this race now, nearly 3 minutes, so I reckon we'll get, what, 2 more laps? This one and 1 more, potentially. But the speed up that hill is fantastic. It just feels like it takes ages to get there. Love the carbon effect on that full send racing machine. Certainly looks good from there. Fraser knows that the HM engineering car will look a lot sweeter from the front. That was close into the cutting, wasn't it?
I thought he was going to try and hook it around the outside there, which, well, that's a pretty low percentage move. But, yeah, Fraser Smith really laying on the pressure here to Norbert Leitner. And Corrington Green, as you can see, he's looking in his mirror going, okay, you've tow hook, get decouple from the diesel locomotive and I'm off. Because he doesn't want to get caught up in this melee. Corrington Green has done his bit for the team by pulling Norbert Leitner around. They've flown in flying formation the whole time, but yeah, I think Guinez might try to make a breakaway if possible here, because Fraser Smith's looking particularly racy, and if he gets a good run here out of Forest Elbow, could perhaps get past Leitner into the chase. Let's see.
Yep, big old run down the straight now. Plenty of slipstreaming, but of course, Norbert Leitner is going to get that slipstream off his teammate as well. Gap is a little bit bigger though, so you've got to think Fraser's going to close up. It's certainly going to be close. But I think we're just going to, yeah, it's going to be 1 more lap after this one. Not enough there for Fraser to do anything with it. Damien Owen Harris has stayed with Roman Boakler, doing well. Chris Daines, of course, still in front of Miguel Freitas. Just trying to see if it's close anywhere further down. Ryan Walker on the back of Ben Hicks. Down the Conrad again. Got to love the centre line exhaust on the Audi RS3 LMS TCR GTD LMP2. Look at the run that Ryan's got. Is he going to go for it? No, he's doing the clever thing here. He's going to try it on the brakes. No, nothing doing there. Quite late braking actually from Ben Hicks. Did a good job there. But it's close at the front, and Fraser has actually got the run here on Norbert Leitner. How's he managed that? Let's have a quick look back. Looks like he's just done it down the straight.
Yeah, I think got a good run out of Murray's, and then yeah, did good dive, good block pass up the inside there.
They swapped sides.
What's that?
They swapped sides then in the time they were on the straight. I don't know how they managed that.
Long straight.
bit of damage though to Norbert Leitner's car. Wondering what's gone on there. Very strange.
Maybe pump drafting maybe on the straight, possibly. I don't know, but yeah, definitely that. Fraser Smith getting by there at Hill Corner before the mountain straight, that killed both of their momentum, and that's what's given Corrington Greenes a little bit of a breakaway. And of course, we're on to the last lap now, so that's a pivotal point in this race. But Fraser Smith has got he's got the position he was looking for, and looks to be making a break for it. And Norbert, we've got a little bit of minor damage on the front of the car there, but it doesn't. We'll see if it holds him back going down the Conrod.
Yeah, indeed. I don't think it'll be that bad, but you never know with these things. We've seen it before where a car doesn't even look damaged from the outside, and it's been really held back in terms of pace, and then other cars have been absolutely ruined from a visual perspective, but done fine. Guinez goes on to the Conrad for the final time. Fraser Smith does have Norbert Leitner only 2 and a bit tenths behind him. You can see him moving around to try and break the slipstream, but if anything, he's just going to be scrubbing off more speed for Norbert to close up with. He is going to get close, but I'm not sure he's going to get close enough. The run gets bigger and bigger each time into the chase. Fraser defends the inside. Norbert's going to try and go late on the brakes around the outside. I don't think that's going to work there. Can he get a good run? It's not going to be enough, I don't think. But into the final corner on his return to the championship. Your reigning champion, Corrington Greenes, at Bathurst, takes round 4 of the championship in the Simracersworld TCR Series. Wonderful drive, great stuff from Fraser Smith for second. Norbert Leitner gets a podium. 3 HM engineering cars in the top 4, with Damien Owen Harris in 5th. Chris Daines is 6th ahead of Miguel Freitas. Behind, it's close between Matthew Crisp, Matthias Tatij and Keanu Bourguignon. Mats Borg Anderson's in there. Oh, Ryan Walker's off. Oh, Ryan. We've had PJ Clayson's have an issue as well. Is he going to hit the inside wall, or is he just going to hit the curb and run wide? Oh, that's a horrible moment to have. Danny Fenning had an issue just there at the end as well. Let's see what happened here. Just a bit hot into turn 1 maybe. Yep. Easy to do. But what happened to Ryan Walker? He's got, who's that, Ben Hicks with him. Oh, he's not left enough room on the way in there. There was definitely not a Porsche's width, never mind an Audi, but a little bit unfortunate that, because those two were having a really good battle, weren't they?
They really were. Yep, absolutely. Ryan Walker. Oh, that is something that can happen a lot at the chase. I remember teammates actually in the Bathurst 1000 in 2019 was Cam Waters and Chaz Mostert got into a bit of a, well, they took each other off basically right into the sandpit, and both of them out at the biggest race of the year. Not great. Funnily enough, Chaz Mostert wasn't back in the team after that. Coming off the next season.
Well, a fantastic win either way for Corentin Guinez. Great stuff from his teammate as well, but Fraser Smith really did a wonderful job in that race to make it through. And we're going to have another race in just a moment for you. But while these guys take it in, they know that straight off the bat, they're going to be doing it all again, Peter. And we don't get the reverse grid yet. So what do you reckon Fraser Smith can go for the win in this second one?
Well, I think in order for him to do that, he's got to get under Guinez's skin early. He's got to make moves on him early. He can't sit behind him, because Guinez will he won't clear off, but he's just very comfortable to lead, and he'll just get more comfortable as the race goes on. So I think for Fraser, just got to try and get in there, slow the pace down a little bit by put some firm moves in early. A little bit like that first tackle in a game of rugby. You want it to be the biggest hit of the game. And yeah, it's true. And it's not. I'm not advising hitting, of course, but some strong moves, back the pace down a little bit. And yes, then if he can do that, then he has every chance winning this race. But I think this first race, for him to split the two HM Engineering guys, brilliant drive. Really, really brilliant.
Indeed, it's a very important moment, and you've got to play these evenings to your advantage. You've got to use the format and do whatever you can to make sure that you're near the front for the end of the night and picking up important points when your rivals are not. We're just getting the grid filtering through here. We're going to get straight back into it for a second race, and I think that's one of the main challenges of this series that we overlook, because these drivers, they don't get a break between races. They don't get time just to nip to the loo or get too much of a drink, unless they're drinking consistently as soon as they cross the line. You've not got too much time to get rehydrated in this. So I think it's a real challenge to the endurance of these drivers and the skill level as well, to be able to keep it consistent without that big break. But it looks like we're not going to get Chris Daines on the grid for this one. Maybe he has nipped to the loo and he's missed it. But round 5 of the Simracersworld TCR Series from Mount Panorama is underway again. And look at that, straightaway defensive from Fraser Smith. He knows that Norbert Leitner got a better start than him. Tries to pile the pressure on. A little bit further back, Paul King is side by side with Mats Borg Andersen. Paul did a very under-the-radar good job last season. There's so many Ignium cars in there. Look at all that, though. Nice and tidy. Seems like everyone's kept it together. But at the front, it's HM Engineering versus Fraser Smith. It's like Scott Pilgrim versus the world, but in a very, very different visual representation. And Fraser is going to hold them off, though. We know how much of a fighter Fraser is in this. They've all gone a little bit hot into quarry. There's the magnets you were talking about, Peter. They're in full effect now.
Yeah, and of course with the tyres just ever so slightly cold and as I say, track position absolutely vital. And look at Roman Bockler around the outside. Now Paul Gordon, more problems for him. Norbert Leitner's back to 4th from 3rd on the grid. Bockler's up to 3rd. And all this bickering back and forth has allowed Guinez to just get a couple of car lengths. And as we saw so many times during the Z1 Dashboard Winter Series, Chaz, you can't really allow Corentin Guinez that kind of luxury, because he will just charge off. That's why we call him the Laurent Aiello of SRW TCR.
Very true indeed. Miguel Freitas has just had a moment just before Skyline on the exit of McPhillamy Park. That's not where to have a moment. If there's anywhere, that's a bit of contact from Mats Borg Andersen. Does a mega job in saving it and making sure he doesn't cause an incident, although it looks like, is he going to stop or is he just waiting for somewhere to filter back in? Smart driving from him. Respectful driving. He's at least got to complete the lap, though, so he can be forgiven for still rejoining. But
very respectful.
Yeah, to be fair, he just got straight on the brakes there, didn't he? Let's have another look at that.
Yeah, super respectful here, actually, because the amount of times people go, I'll just join back onto the track and hope for the best. I don't want to lose any time. But actually, what Mats Borg Andersen's been rewarded with here is a clean car for the rest of the race. So, ish. Just a wee bit of a nudge off the wall, but he doesn't have any more contact and just sort of keeps as clean as he can. And You know, that definitely that is his kind of consolation prize, if you like, for that little incident, and handling it very respectfully, not putting any of the other drivers in the line of danger. Now, Chris Danes in the Mario Kart Rainbow Road. Goodness me. Remember Ollie Jarvis going off there in the factory Bentley at the 12 hours of Bathurst. Not advisable.
No, he's just lost it and then overcorrected. Big hit into the wall for Chris Danes, unfortunately. I don't think he took the start, and he's now back to the pits as well, so not a memorable round for him so far. Michael Blake's in the thick of the action once again. He always seems to have cars around him, no matter what he's racing in, and no matter how well his race is going. We've got a good battle going on here as well. Ashley Gaffall. Behind him is Dan Mould, his teammate. Ryan Walker's in there. He's got Scott Malcolm just in front. Nice and close once again. Wayne Palmer's been off track. Dean Timms has had an issue. We've actually had quite a lot of cars go off. I think there might have been at the chase. Oh no.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Oh, T-bone stick. Oh
no. Oh, look, to be fair. Oh, and that's what happened to Dean Timms. Lost it on the grass. And then collected another car. I think that was Danny Fenning, unfortunately for Danny. But yeah, lively stuff there. Maybe not the best rejoin there from Wayne Palmer, but we know what it's like in iRacing, don't we? When you're on the grass and you're on slicks, there's just no hope.
Yeah, it kind of it's perfectly simulates wet grass, even if it's not meant to be wet. In the sim, is the best way to describe it. It's just so slick as you go down there, and really you don't have a great deal of say in the direction or the trajectory or the velocity of your projectile that you're at the wheel of. So down the go through the cutting, Dan Mould right there in the thick of it. Your rival in the Sunday Drivers MX5 series, Chaz.
Yes, indeed. Very feisty racer is Dan. We had probably one of the best races I've ever had in iRacing at Alton Park when we were racing together, constantly battling for the win over 16 laps, slipstreaming one another, door-to-door stuff all the way through. It was absolutely phenomenal. So I know that Dan is certainly committed in his racing, and it's a really good place to be when you're committed to your racing and you like a bit of strong battling, because racing like this, you just can't replace it, can you, with these TCR cars?
Indeed, absolutely. Both, I would say, these cars and the Mazda MX-5, I think, are the best for the entertainment factor, certainly on iRacing. Really, if you like argy-bargy and you like getting a bit of combat, this is what it's all about. And oh, big crash there. I think that's Scotty Andrews at the back of shot there. Big hit into the wall, just loses it on the outside of Murray's.
Yeah, just trying to find him. Was it Neil Stevenson, actually?
Oh, no. My apologies.
No, I think you were right, actually. It might have been Scotty Angelo. Just trying to find it. No, it was Neil Stevenson, apparently. Let's have a look. Into the final corner. Oh, in way too hot. Hits Ryan.
Oh.
And then...
And again.
Oh, he's just... What has happened there, Neil?
I think maybe his suspension broke, possibly.
Was he typing a sorry message in the chat or something? Oh, Ryan's gone a little bit deep, to be fair. Neil looks down the inside, sees the gap. Big hit. Yeah, look, he's turning left. It's just wheel spin in the front right, isn't it? And it's just gone straight in. That's a real shame for Neil. Big hit into the wall, and that will not be going anywhere. Now, Anders Lily Jordet, one of the new championship contenders, in 12th position at the moment, trying to chase down Paul King. He's in a bit of the lonely part of this race. And then further down, I don't think there's any such thing as lonely. We've got Jean-Louis Deschamps just behind Craig Schill, and then we've got Scott Malcolm, Ashley Gaffall, and Dan Mould right in there as well. All having a good ding-dong. But this is the thing. If you want to get to the front of the pack, it's really not easy to do around here, because as soon as you get held up by one car or stuck behind one car trying to overtake it, it just ruins your race, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, the track position is everything. They say it all the time here at the Bathurst 1000. You've got to get that track position to be able to deploy your pace, and it is extraordinary how you can be, significant amount of time quicker a lap, but no chance to get by unless the car in front makes a mistake. So yeah, it's a real challenge here at Bathurst that you've got to take it as for what it is. But Fraser Smith again done a good job to be splitting the HM Engineering cars as well. Norbert Leitner's recovered back to third place, and now right on the case of Fraser Smith. Guinez is just got that little bit of comfort. But Leitner putting in the fastest lap of the race, 2:19.2. They did 2-minute 18s in the last race, so there is a wee bit of pace left in the tank possibly. But Guinness, yeah, he's got that little bit of comfort. Leitner right in the draft, and Fraser's going, no, I'm not going anywhere near the pedigree chum magnets. I'm just I'm going to hold that inside line like it's a young child with their favourite cuddly toy.
A dentist stick. At the moment, though, yeah. Look at this now. Norbert has worked this to perfection. Tries to go around the outside. Doesn't quite have the overlap, though. Fraser goes in a little bit hot, but makes it work. I think I heard a little contact with the noise. Wow, speak English, Chaz. Contact with the wall there. There was a bit of a noise that signified it, but I don't think anyone was really close enough to do anything about it. This is Michael Blake in the Smile Times Mortal Racing Team Mad TBC car. With Lee Bowden just behind. Just in front is Bram Class, who's trying to put his name and his stickers on every single wall on the circuit by the look of it as he goes up the hill through McPhillamy Park. And this is another...
Do they not?
Yes, they do, yes. I remember having to do that in GTA San Andreas, a bit of tagging, and in the Tony Hawk's games as well.
I think that's where I remember it from, Tony Hawk Underground. What a great game.
Oh, yes, and Underground 2 as well, where they went all over the world for their world tour. Absolutely hilarious, fantastic, outrageous game.
Tony Hawk 3, I remember that was good because it had a great soundtrack. I remember it had... that was when I really got to know TNT by AC/DC. And you thought, TNT, I'm final.
Well, something's just gone bang for Bram Class there. A big hit on the wall. Launched the car into the air. Comes back down to earth. Doesn't seem too damaged visually, but we know it's very different. Now, Norbert Leitner's got past Fraser Smith down the Conrod here. That's a big turning point in this race because it means that Corentin Guinez has got even more reason to have an easy ride to the end. He's going to clear off. What's going to happen here on the brakes? They need to be careful. Braking early, adjusting to what's going on in front. That's what I was going to say as we were going through McPhillamy Park. That's a part of the circuit where you can run as many laps as you want on your own there and just keep testing and getting used to where to lift, where to floor it. As soon as you go through there for the first time following another car in front and get a little bit of the dirty air, dependent on how affected by that your car is, it's a real change of approach that you've got to take around there, isn't it? Especially in pack racing. If someone's a little bit slower than you around there, you've got to know exactly how to react and what to do if the car changes its behaviour. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, you've got to have that adaptability, and that kind of only comes with practice, knowing what you can and can't get away with. And speaking of, Damon Owen Harris has a big lunge up the inside. Roman Bokler goes very wide, gets onto that off-camber part, and nothing he can do. He just kind of accept defeat there, really, and just kind of go, well, at that point, when you do start to lose it on the outside there, at that point, it's damage limitation. It's just make sure you don't hit that wall. You'll see that there again. As well with now that's not Scotty Angelo. I keep thinking it's Scotty Angelo because it's the Oceana coffee car, but it's not. It's Bram Claes.
Oh, he's stuck right up behind him there. That, of course, Lee Bowden, who's just gone through. Dan Mould is... Oh, he's actually not the car behind, so it's Ben Hicks. Apologies. I remember seeing two of the Ignium cars right together earlier, but it's not the right ones. Norbert Leitner still holding on to second place, though, with Fraser Smith. Damien Owen Harris in this battle again now. He's got a much more... Oh, well, I say that. He's just had a bit of a biff on the wall there, I think, as he came down the hill. Bram Class has just gone off before Skyline as well. Loads of cars cutting that grass, though. I keep getting things come up. Oh, Ashley Gaffall has had a fall. Oh, that's in the middle of McPhillamy Park. What's happened here? Let's have a look.
Not the place to go off. Oh, pancakes. The wall hard.
Man, I tell you... Oh!
And Ryan Walker's lost the wheel!
Ryan Walker, I was going to say, I was literally halfway through opening my mouth to say they got so lucky not to hit him there. Although, there you go, iRacing obviously refreshes the damage that comes from it. Let's have a look at Ryan Walker again. Looks very dramatic, but then it's just undone by the fact that it all reappears again, unfortunately. That's a proper moment.
They'll still round it up to an hour's labour, though, in an Audi garage.
Oh, ready? Boop.
Hey!
Hey! Love that. That doesn't cost you...
But over £120, sir. That's just labour, though. Plus VAT.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, plus VAT. Definitely plus VAT. Fraser Smith...
Hope you enjoyed the dishwater coffee as well while you waited 3 hours.
Ooh, Scott Malcolm testing how close he can get to the walls there as he comes back on. I was just about to say Fraser Smith was running a little bit wide out of the final corner. Loses a bit of time. We've got Matsborg Anderson now off the road as well, doing the same thing. That's Dan Mould. I've got it right this time, going past him. Seems like the guys are really pushing more and more here. It gives me great hope, but also a massive amount of fear for the final race with the reverse grid.
Indeed, yeah, that's going to be the top one of the, well, I would say the toughest reverse grid race of the season, because they've got to try and making their way through here at Bathurst is no easy feat entirely. So a good opportunity for some of the other drivers in the championship to get a good result, or maybe even a win. And Norbert Leitner's made his way past Fraser Smith. So can Fraser Smith repeat his race 1 heroics by getting in about Norbert there and getting past him? But lost a wing mirror now. That's Fraser Smith's lost a wing mirror. And I think that's, well, I hope it's not one of those electric folding ones with the puddle lights on there as well, because that'll be expensive to fix.
I was going to say that cost him 500 quid, wasn't it? Naveed Hussein has had a bit of a nightmare somewhere. He's lost a couple of positions. Who's that he's side by side with? Matthew Crisp. Oh, not enough room there, I'm afraid, Naveed. Oh, and that's a big hit. Big hit indeed.
Have you seen these puddle light things, Chaz?
I have, yeah, and I don't really see much point in them.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, that's on Naveed, unfortunately. There you go, Bart. I've saved you a stewarding job. But it's easy to do around here, isn't it? You know, the walls are very scary, and you don't want to go near any of them. So when you're trying to leave what you think is enough room, it's easy to misjudge it, and I've been there, done that. So he's not the only one. He's not the first one, and he definitely won't be the last one. Now, we've still got over 5 minutes of this race to go. We're nearly done with 3/4 of it, but as you can see from your screen here, no Corentin Guinez in sight. This top 5 has very much become a race leader and a top 4 in 2 very distinct groups. 2 minute 20.0 for Guinez, 2:19.9, 19.7 and 19.8. But look at that from Fraser Smith. Down the straight, great stuff. Oh, runs him out of room a little bit, but we know how understeery it feels around there. Still side by side once again up the straight. Now I'm going to think here, Norbert Leitner's probably got a really good run out of that actually, and Damien Owen Harris is trying to come through as well. Oh
yeah, Fraser Smith could be really left out to dry here. He's desperate.
Oh, come on, boys!
Oh my giddy aunt, wow, that was a big one.
There's no point in it. They're really, why? I see a lot of the backlash of this sort of thing going on over the course of the season. Fraser doesn't need to come over that far. He doesn't need to squeeze them. They're in a straight line. And again, it's ruined Damien Owen Harris's race as well. It's ruined Norbert Leitner's one. There's no point in that. I'm really, really just disappointed in seeing that. And we've got a bit more contact there. That's a little bit more innocent. But, yeah, that's very frustrating to see. Especially after the amount of exchanges that do go on between these drivers. You know, it's easy to get frustrated after a race meeting where it doesn't go your way, and any of the drivers can be forgiven for that. But yeah, it's unacceptable, that, I'm afraid. Really is. So hopefully we don't see any more of that. But anyway, we move on, and certainly there's a lot more cars appearing without wing mirrors.
Tune in for Chaz, Draycott and I commentating on the
Discord chat. Yeah, indeed.
Oh, good one.
Oh, oof, as Ethan Bass has said in the chat. Big oof. Good to see you, Ethan. Hope you're well, mate. Right, Corentin Guinez still clearing off. He's now 4 seconds clear of Roman Beauclerc, who got pretty much a front row seat of all of that. Fraser Smith is behind, still with just 1 wing mirror. Miguel Freitas has been promoted to 4th. Matthias Titij 5th, Bourguignon 6th, and Damien Owen Harris somehow, how was he still 7th after that? There was a massive accident.
That's very strange. Yeah, that's just pure luck, actually. I mean, to be fair to Damien, he was squeezed right over, nothing he could do, and then that accident was happening, there was nothing he could do. He was completely trapped in there. So a little bit of justice there to keep going, but yeah, this makes Jason Plato and Matt Neal look like a little bit of a cuddling competition.
Oh, well, I don't have words.
You had a lot of go, you ran out. But Roman Beauclerc, the sea just parted in front of them, and he was just like, au revoir, thank you very much. And it's an ATM Engineering. It's the Laurent Aiello and Ivan Muller show at the front.
It is indeed. Last Minute Racing says, and the guy causing it is the only one that kept going. That's not technically true, mate. Damien Owen Harris, as we just said, is in 7th place. So he's still pushing on. Anders Lillijorda is just behind Michael Blake, who's now got into the top 10. Lee Bowden is also close with Mats Borg Andersen in the Sharebox TC Motorsport machine. It's just, there's battles everywhere, isn't there? All the time. Really is. I love this series for that. I really do.
We never know where to look. I don't know how you do it with the being on the buttons with all these screens in your office.
I don't know either, to be fair. Half the time it's just I don't tend to remember a broadcast by the time I get to the end of it. It's like this drunken state of buttons and graphics and timing. It's great, but at the moment, somehow Fraser Smith is he's still pushing that car along. I suppose he didn't receive too much damage from what went on. It was Damien and, of course, Norbert that really suffered in that one. He's looking for another podium. We've had a couple of cars just nip off track for a second or so, but that'll just be running wide out of the exit of McPhillamy Park. But we're going to be going on to the final lap in just a moment for Corentin Guinez, and he's made it look pretty easy once again here, Peter. I won't lie. With him coming back, I expected to have a bit of a higher challenge for Corentin Guinez with these guys. They've certainly done a wonderful job of bringing him back in and having him still on pace. He's just been brilliant. We've had Jürgen Knockout, unfortunately, go off circuit in the McDonald's Sim Racing Belgian car. Ooh, that's a different line, Jürgen. Oh, that's not going to work. And the mirror goes off. That's a grand. Well, that was a very... Let's have a look. So he's going left, and then suddenly the wheel just goes left. It's like he let go of the wheel or something for a sec. Maybe just off a bite of his McNugget share box.
Maybe he realised that if he left it any longer, they'd all be gone. They've been pinched.
Very true. Very true. Now
what do you dip yours with?
Oh, it's got to be the barbecue.
Ketchup for me.
I'm not a tomato ketchup fan. Really not. I don't know what it is about tomatoes, but I've just never got on with them at all. So unfortunately, it's off the menu in my household. Well, it's not, because Beth and Harry still have it, so I've got to deal with it, washing it up. But oh well. Anyway, Michael Blake.
You get to get rid of it. There you go.
Yeah, that's true. Wash it away down the drain where it should go. Michael Blake is having to hold on here with Anders Lillijorda and Ben Hicks and Daniele Giudici all behind him. The three of them barely covered by 2 seconds. We've got Damien Owen Harris going for a bit of a ride before he gets to Skyline. But this has been pretty amazing in terms of the consistency that we get out of these guys around here. It just shows you the talent levels that you get in iRacing. To be able to push these cars and do these sorts of lap times, lap after lap after lap, and not smack it into a wall every single time. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, absolutely, especially at the level that Corentin Guinez has got it on here. And yeah, tell you what, Chaz, it would be great to see a Touring Car World Championship, proper pro World Championship touring cars, because there are some amazing drivers across various series in iRacing as well. And Corentin, he is the star of SRW TCR right now.
He really, really is. He's doing an absolutely wonderful job. Straight back into the championship. 2 wins out of 2 for Corentin Guinez. Takes round 5 of the championship. And it's another 1-2 for HM Engineering this season, with Roman Bokler in 2nd place. Fraser Smith in 3rd. Miguel Freitas gets a 4th place finish ahead of Matthias de Tige. We've had Craig Schill have an issue. No, right near the end. Although he's got back going again. A little bit of damage. Keanu Bourguignon finishes the race, crosses the line, gets to the end. Michael Blake is going to hold on to a top 10. Awesome stuff from Michael. Well done indeed. Well, that must have been a very, very tough race, especially straight after the first one as well.
Indeed, yeah, to keep that concentration. And like you mentioned it, Chaz, I mean, you've got almost no rest at all. It's like a 40-minute race, really, with a pit stop kind of thing. And to do that without any error whatsoever here at Bathurst is quite an effort. But Corentin Guinez, he's got to, and can he do the treble? If he's going to do the treble, he's got big work to do with the reverse grid, of course.
He certainly does, mate. It's going to be absolutely mammoth stuff if he can do that. We'll go through the results of the very first race of the night, and then we'll go through the second one as well. But same winner both times. Corentin Guinez takes the win by 2.1 seconds over Fraser Smith, with Norbert Leitner in third, followed by Roman Vogtler. Damien Harris finishes in 5th with Chris Daines in 6th, Miguel Freitas in 7th with Matthias Lettige 8th, Matthew Crisp 9th, and Keanu Bourguignon rounding out the top 10. Paul King is then 11th with Mats Borg Anderson 12th, Naveed Hussein 13th, Anders Lily Jordan in 14th with Michael Blake in 15th place. Behind him is Bram Class with Lee Bowden and Ben Hicks for Ignium Motorsport, with Craig Schill 19th and Daniele Giudici rounding out the top 20. Scott Malcolm finishes 21st with Niles de Kuiper in 22nd, then it's Ashley Gaffal and Jean-Louis Deschamps. Ryan Walker finishes 25th ahead of Jürgen Knockhart and Dan Mould, with Wayne Palmer just behind for Sim Stickers. Then it's Neil Stevenson and PJ Claysons. Jessica Myers is just outside the top 30 with Paul Godden 32nd, followed by Mark Woodhouse, who had that issue early on. Danny Fenning is 34th. The cars lap down were Scott Angelo, Dean Timms, Bod Boland and Anton Dupin. And if you would be so kind, hang on. The results are being a pain in my backside right now, so please do bear with me. If you would, Peter, we have the consolation or race 2 results, as they're known.
Indeed, confirming Corentin Guinez winning from his 8-team engineering teammate, so getting that 1-2 in the end. Roman Vogtler finishing 2nd with Fraser Smith in 3rd on the standings. But will the stewards have something to say about that controversial incident coming up towards Quarry Bend? Miguel Freitas was 4th, followed by Matthias Lettige, Keanu Bourguignon, Damien Owen Harris somehow recovering from that particular incident, with Matthew King in 8th, Paul King 9th, Matthew Crisp in 8th, Paul King in 9th, and Michael Blake in 10th. Anders Lily Jordan was 11th, followed by Ben Hicks, Daniele Giudici, Matt Borg Anderson, Lee Bowden, Dan Mould, Niels de Kuiper, and Bram Class. Scott Malcolm, the Falkirk Flyer, was 19th, followed by Mark Woodhouse, Jean-Louis Deschamps, Ryan Walker, PJ Claysons, Naveed Hussein, Wayne Palmer, Craig Schill, Jürgen Knockhart, and Jess Myers. Ashley Gaffal was 29th, followed by Dean Timms, Norbert Leitner, Danny Fenning, Scott Angelo, Neil Stevenson, Chris Daines, Paul Godden, Bod Boland, and Anton Dupin in 38th position.
Thank you very much, Peter. And we now have the usual warm-up session before the third and final race of the evening. So what we're going to do is just take a quick break between Peter and I. There will be some laps going on the board shortly while the drivers are in their warm-up session. Jürgen Knockhart is actually out on the circuit, but if I try and auto the cameras, it does this. Oh, no, there you go. Right then, if you give us a couple of minutes, everybody, give us about 5 minutes time. Peter and I are just going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you in a few minutes. Thank you for your patience there, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful evening of racing already. 2/3 of the way through pretty much here at Bathurst in the Simracersworld TCR Series. Oh, well, it's been lively so far, hasn't it, Peter, to say the least?
Yes, lively would be one way to describe it, that's for sure. That's what you get with touring car racing at the mountain. You've got to make those. You've got to make that track position count, and as we see, defending that track position is very, very important. And you see, sometimes you see a wee bit of desperation creeping in just to keep that track position. But what I think here in the final race, of course, the reverse grid, or partially reversed, we should say. Corrington Greenes will start from the mid-pack. So we're going to see if we've seen him clear off at the front. Can we see him get through the pack? Now, we saw in the winter series, didn't we, Chaz, that Corrington he never rushes to get to the front. He will not make silly moves for the sake of it, and sometimes takes his time to get through and almost waits for the field to spread out a little bit, and then has got a little bit more freedom to open up his pace and makes his way to the front that way. But here at Bathurst, it'll be interesting to see if we can apply the same tactic.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this because these reverse grid races, they are usually the test to see what some of these drivers can really do when they get put back a little bit inside the pack. It's always interesting to end the night with it. We do see a little bit more chaos sometimes, but with the reverse grid not being as large as we see in other series, I think that lends itself to the fact that this grid is so competitive anyway, that even the guys that aren't in the top 10, they're still in with a really good chance here because there's so much battling up front. It really does keep it all together, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and I think the guys that are starting from the front rows of the grid, the front two rows, have got a really good chance to try and nab a win. These reverse grid races do give the opportunity to do that. I remember one particular reverse grid race. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it was maybe the year before last at Knockhill, and Jake Hill just absolutely tore away from pole position. He'd been sort of in the mid pack all week, all day and all weekend really, and then but once he got that clean air, he was able to really push on. Tell you what, it must have been 2019 because he was in the Audi, but it was I think we could see some of those some new names standing out going for the podium this race here.
Yeah, that's another thing of it as well. You know, some of the drivers that maybe if they're just a little bit further back in the top 10, they just don't usually get that chance to break through. I mean, we've got like a top 10 in this championship that are so competitive all of the time, and they just sometimes doesn't seem to be a way in. But some of these drivers, like you say, they do get that chance, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get here. We have Ben Hicks on pole position with Anders Lederjordet joining him on the front row. Michael Blake is in third position with Paul King fourth. Then it's Matthew Crisp and Damien Owen Harris making it a fiercely forward row 3. Keanu Bourguignon lines up alongside his countryman Matthias Titige, with Miguel Freitas 9th and Fraser Smith in 10th. The rest of the field there will now go past on your screen, and you can see where your favourite drivers are, but we're pretty much ready to get underway here. These guys grid up very quickly for this final one. They're all very excited to crack on with it, but Ben Hicks starting from the front, I reckon we could see very good things from him here.
Indeed, and we've got a familiar number there in third, the number 116. Well, we never know, we might see some argy-bargy.
You're never going to drop that, are you? It's number 118, actually. It's Michael Blake. There you go. Maybe even more, bigger number and all that. Right then, final race of the night, then round 6 of the Simracersworld TCR Series from Mount Panorama is underway. Nice clean start by everybody. The cameras decide to look further back. Love it. Right, Michael Blake down the inside of Anders into turn 1. Nearly a bit of contact there, but a good start from Ben Hicks. Nice and tidy. We look a bit further back inside the top 10. And it's still nice and tidy. Everybody just trying to get sorted out. Look at all that in the background as well. They did look like they might have been 3 wide for a second there, but I think they were still 2 wide. Here's Anders in third place. Just behind him, Matthew Crisp and Paul King side by side. Paul King on the inside in the Ignium car. Damien Owen Harris with a front row seat of all this. He's going to try and get the run and go through with his teammate there. Nice opportunism. But is Paul King still in front? He is just about. The side by side into the cutting. Onto the brakes. I love watching all these cars just filter their way through here. Everybody on the brakes for the first time up there. It's such a scary moment. Looked like Ryan Walker was very close with Jean-Louis Deschamps. Side by side again. The Chrome machine doing a good job. Ryan Walker manages to just hold on now. Are they going to be side by side up there? No, he gets away with it. A nice clean start for a third race there, Peter. This is good.
Absolutely, yeah, very tidy, very, very tidy indeed. So let's see if it stays that way. At the moment, it's the Ignium Motorsport machine of Ben Hicks at the front of Michael Blake in the not 116 machine in second. So one place moved up for him. Damien Owen Harris up to fifth, making good moves in these early stages. And you got to think he's not quite had the rub of the green tonight, Chaz. Just a couple of little mistakes of his own, a couple that's a bit of bad luck, and Scott Malcolm's off. And he's got suspension damage. That will be his night done. Let's see how it happened. But yeah, I think Damien Harris, if he can eliminate the mistakes, he's got a good chance of getting through to win this race. Let's see what happens here to Scott. Just a little bit of a mistake on the curb. Recovered. And then,
got caught by Jean-Louis Deschamps.
Really, really keen to share his nuggets.
Well, they gave him a bit more than a nugget there of the wall. Michael Blake, though, his teammate, he'll be pretty pleased. He's doing well at the moment, second place. Just trying to hold on ahead of Anders Lillijordet. I really do hope for Anders' sake that I've got his name right. That I'm going to have another reasons very soon, which you'll all probably see announced on my website, on my social media, to learn how to pronounce Scandinavian names. We've got Matthias de Tige trying to hold off Fraser Smith, Corentin Guinez, Paul King, and just about everybody else at the moment. Paul King ran a little bit wide there, I think with a bit of assistance from some of the HM engineering cars, which all seem to have different spec maps on, which is quite interesting. But look at this top five that we've got, or top six I should say, with Ben Hicks leading the way, the two fiercely forward cars in the middle, and Keanu Borgignon at the back of the train.
Yeah, who's got a great view of the angle here, running in sixth position. He's got Damien Harris right ahead in the 503 car, Matthew Crisp in the other fiercely forward machine, and a big bump to Damien Owen Harris, and that just unsettles him, puts him off the camber, and Keanu Borgignon says thank you very much, through I go. Yeah, this is just not been Damien Owen Harris's night. He's just not quite had the rub of the green at all. He's had the rub of the wall, but not the rub of the green.
Indeed, yeah. It's tough round here. But these lot, I think, are handling it very, very well indeed, in all fairness. It's been some great racing so far this evening, a wonderful train of cars. And look at this, Fraser Smith now in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. He's trying to get past Matthias de Tige. He's got Corentin Guinez very aggressive behind, just moving out there to show his nose and be like, look, Fraser, I'm still here, I'm not going anywhere. But great work in the train once again. Maybe a kiss of the wall there for Fraser, but all the cars look like here. Oh no, Dan Mould. Dan Mould is off. Rejoins just in front of Ryan Walker, but big damage to the Ignium Motorsport machine. What has happened? Daniele Giudici's gone off as well. Daniele there just in front. Dan Mould is just in that black and blue and silver car behind. Daniele's out of shape. Dan's lost it on the brakes, trying to avoid him. He gets on the brakes there thinking, I need to get out of this incident, and the back end just goes around on him, Peter. Yeah,
they both kind of landed on top of each other in a heap, didn't they? So, not easy going through there at the S's and down through the dip. Oh, my goodness me. Find a bit of tarmac for yourself and hang on to it. Gee whiz. Keanu Borgignon, great start to the race from the Belgian driver for Flemish Sim Sports. Really making moves up into fifth now. He's got Lila Jordet just ahead. Damien Owen Harris is just got a
Crispy went down the inside of Michael Blake there. There was a bit of contact. Puts Matthew Crisp to the inside line. Anders Lillijordet now goes to third. There's a bit of a squeeze there. Crisp moving over on Keanu Borgignon. He won't quite like that. He gives him a bit of a biff in the rear, but I just wanted to stay on this blimp shot because look at this train of cars as they come around Bathurst. It's just wonderful. A little bit further back, you've got Fraser Smith just ahead of Corentin Guinez. Those two seemingly welded together, chasing Matthias de Tige, but look at that fiercely forward car. It's getting lifted off the ground.
Yeah, bump draft from Keanu Borgignon. Obviously a bit of a NASCAR fan there. And here goes Damien Owen Harris. He knows he's got to make the move early. He's got to go for it. Shoves it up the inside. A little bit of a barge. All fair in love and war, as they say. And Damien Harris moves up, claims fifth position, but all the while Fraser Smith. He's come in and he's not anymore. Hard in the wall there for Fraser Smith, and that will be miraculous if he can get away with that, because that was a big hit.
He's carried on, but it looks like the car might be damaged. I'm intrigued to see how it behaves over the top of the hill. Oh, it's in the wall. I think it was Keanu Bourguignon down the inside. Let's have a look. So if we go on board with Fraser, I think the chopper cam will help, because sometimes you just don't get to see the car next to you. So look at Bourguignon. He's just been pushed out wide there in the black and gold Flemish Sim Sports machine. Fraser gets a helpful push to go past on Guinez. I think he might have thought he'd cleared him at that point. Turns in. Oh, just... Mate, there was a bit more than a car's width, but he gets away with it really well, doesn't he? But the way it bounces off the wall. But again, we saw that in the first race, didn't we? It's so easy to do that round there because the walls are so scary on this circuit. You want to avoid them. But at the same time, it's so difficult to leave room and go 2x2 everywhere while not putting yourself in a situation where you're going to hit the wall. But once again, we'll go back to Blimpy Boy, because look at this train. That is such a sight, isn't it? It's like something like the Sound of Music, as Charlie Cox would say.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, a big train of touring cars. Absolutely superb. And that is, well, I said it would be miraculous, and it is. It's a miracle that Fraser Smith's car is still running relatively straight. And problem from now, is that Ben Hicks in there? Yes, it is. Blake, and Bourguignon's off. He's got, taken the whole front grille off. Oh dear, what happened there?
Yeah, something else went on there. Fraser Smith went off and back on. Oh, Fraser Smith and Damien Owen Harris both went off the circuit. Let's have a look. It's just a big check-up behind. Fraser went straight on to try and avoid it. Damien went off to the right. And it was all a bit of a mess in there, to be fair. Let's have another little look at it. Who was at the back of that train then? So, it's just a massive check-up. I think Matthias de Tige was one that got hit really hard in all of that. Where did he end up? Yeah, he's ended up down the order. Let's have a look at Matthias.
Keanu who hit there's not really any fault here, just an unlucky deal, and yeah, bang, that's what they get together. And it looks like all the HM Engineering guys have got through. Guinez is through, Boakler's through. No sign of Leitner, but he would, of course, would have had to start much further back.
Yeah, he would have been making his way up. I'll see how he's getting on, though. He's actually gained 10 positions so far. Chris Daines has gained 13 up into 22nd place, so great stuff from Chris. He's certainly not lost the pace that he had when he did quit sim racing for a little bit, just giving it a bit of a break. Anton Dupin hating my use of the blimp cam. Sorry, mate. When you've got to try and get 9 cars in a shot, I'd rather just try and see it all from far away and see how it all works together. Now, Jürgen Knockout's got a real train behind him now, which of course involves Norbert Leitner and Chris Daines, who have been really flying at the moment. Onto the brakes they go. Look at that. Daines looking down the inside of Norbert Leitner. That's scary stuff, Chris. Oof. Thing is, though, you've got to push to get these moves done, and Chris is one of the guys to do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll make a move if it's there. Will Chris Daines? It's certainly been a lively day for him, and it's all a big pile up again.
Well, more contact here and there, but it's touring car racing. These guys are racing very hard indeed. We've got two of the TC Sharebox TC Motorsport cars together there. Look at that. Fraser Smith down the inside of... Who was that? That was Miguel Freitas, wasn't it? Down the inside. Now he's pushing against Anders Lillijorde, trying to find an opening. He's going over the white line to the pits there. He's still down the inside. Manages to find the gap. Into the final corner they go. He's got through. A little bit of contact there. And behind as well. Look at that. That was Mark Woodhouse and I believe Lee Bowden having a right good scrap. Neil Stevenson and Wayne Palmer and Niles de Kuiper have all gone off the circuit. Dean Tim's been involved. Oh, boys. Oh, dear, oh, dear. I'm not sure who thought. Oh, wow, that's a massive hit in the background. Niles de Kuiper got smacked into. That's a real shame, that is. Let's have a look. So it's 2x2. Niles runs wide. I think it was Deschamps, wasn't it? Went for the gap in the middle. Niles rolls across the circuit. You just need to get on the brakes. Even if the car's in a bad place, don't let it become unpredictable and roll back in the circuit. You need to just keep it where it is at the best of your ability, because if the car stays where it is, people can see that when they're coming up to the incident and they don't have to then readjust partway through their run up to the crash. Otherwise, it unfortunately becomes a much bigger incident, as we saw there. That was a massive hit. Thankfully, it is just sim racing and he isn't going to be injured. Hopefully not on a direct drive wheel, but he would have let go of it by then, I'm sure. Michael Blake, though, still leading this race now. Matthew Crisp second. And look at that. Corentin Guinez up to third position again. So at the moment, he's on for another podium.
Yeah, and possibly even more. He's right there in the fight is Corentin Guinez. So, well, like we say, a little bit of patience. He's had to carve through quite a few different incidents, but just picked his way through. Do you know what it reminds me of quite a bit, Chaz, is Ryan Parkins in the Porsche Club of Great Britain reverse grid races. Just very patiently picks his way through, avoids the incidents, just knows that he's got the pace in hand and just deploys it when necessary.
He does indeed. He certainly is. That's a really good comparison, to be fair. Jürgen Knockart's just had an issue, but someone else is having a bit of an issue at the moment. It's Michael Blake, who's trying to defend from Matthew Crisp. It's very difficult to do. Great stuff, though. Nice and deep into the chase. Gets it done, and now Corentin Guinez has opened the door. Blake moves over. Oh, it's going to be 3 wide to the final corner. Blake runs Crisp out of room. I don't think Matthew will take too kindly to that. Corentin Guinez is on the brakes down the inside. He's not going to get the lead, is he, out of all that? Looks like he is. Down towards Hell Corner. What can the two fiercely forward cars behind make of this? Are they going to be able to take advantage here? Don't forget, we've got the big run up to Quarry as well after this. Through Hell Corner. Guinez gets the lead. Is anyone going to have enough of a run? I don't think they will here, Peter. He looks like he's got the deal sorted.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Michael Blake's right there in the draft. Corentin Guinez has done his movement, and he's now held his line. Good stuff there. But he's got double fiercely forward trouble here with Matthew Crisp and Damien Harris. And Damien Harris moves up into third position past his teammate. He'll be desperate to try and get a result out of tonight and move on to the next round. But Corentin Guinez now hitting the front, and if he gets into the mountain, well, he is now onto the mountain with clean air. That's when you really have to be on your game to keep up with the Frenchman.
Yeah, that's it. There's so many parts of the circuit. As Navid Hussein goes down the inside of Anders Lillejorde, makes it nice and clean. Anders just went in a little bit too hot there into the cutting. Here's Ashley Gaffal behind Jean-Louis Deschamps. Just behind them is Dean Timms and Ryan Walker. All scrapping as they go back up the hill. But yeah, like you say, it is definitely the middle part of the lap when you're going up and down the mountain again, where you need to be able to keep up. Because in the slipstream, it levels the playing field a bit, but Guinez, he's just showing he's got the pace here. He's clearing off. But it's going to be a good result either way for Michael Blake if he can hold on to this. Some nice clean defending against these fiercely forward cars will get the job done, but as you and I both know, Peter, it's very difficult to defend on this straight with massive slipstream, isn't it?
It is, yep, absolutely, especially when they get right to, particularly here coming down Conrod Straight, when they get right up to the very top of top gear and there's no revs left in the box and they just swing by. And you can see there that Damien Owen Harris, he's got a little bit of rear damage there. He's had his boot pushed in a little bit there, but Michael Blake very cleverly just covers the inside line there into the chase. Very smart. Keeps Damien Owen Harris behind, but then, a little bit of a wobble there, and that's going to allow Harris to get the move. He's got to go the long way around. You can do it here at Murray's, but he might actually have it done in the braking zone. He does, and he tucks it in. Now we're going to see Damien Owen Harris now has the fresh air, the clean air that he so craves. Can he chase down Guinez? Indeed, yeah. It'll be 2 laps to go when they come over the line. So there's plenty of time for Damien Owen Harris to try and make his move on Corentin Guinez. Now, Fraser Smith back there in 7th. How that car is even remotely on pace is extraordinary, because he hit the wall at such a rate of knots, and of course got a bit of a, kind of got a pretty heavy contact from another car to go into the wall. So yeah, and it looks absolutely clean as a whistle. It's amazing, isn't it? So Fraser Smith kind of got away, and you think, given the incident in the last race, to finish third there, so for him to come away with a second, third, and a top 10 here, you've got to think that he's come out with as much as possible. Now I'm seeing, well, this is you know that this is my rubbish shirt car, and well, seeing 4 of them, that's kind of looked at myself in the mirror, and oh no, they're all off. Yeah, of course. I did. This was the rubbish shirt night on a stag party a year or 2 ago, and when I had it on, towards the end of the evening, you look at yourself in the mirror. This was roughly what I was seeing. There was 2 of everything. It's don't do it, kids. Well, if you're going to drink, just don't drink Copperberg fruit cider like our dear friend Chaz Draycott. In my contract, I have to mention it. Like he did.
Oh, apologies, guys. I only just realised that I was muted for a second there. But I was just saying, Michael Blake's doing a wonderful job here in 4th position. Anderson just holding on behind him in 5th place, but he's trying to put that pressure on before Fraser Smith gets there to have a go. But now look, Matthew Crisp has dropped back even further. Oh, Matthias Tatij and Bram Klaas have come together. Oh. That's not a place you want to be at all, is it? Yeah, sorry for being muted there, everybody. I just took a quick drink and I didn't want you all to hear the horrible noise it makes, because it's a very strange bottle. Oh, and in front there's contact. Bram's going to bounce off the wall. Yep. There's wheels everywhere. That was PJ Clayson's involved in that. That's a very sorry.
Chaslington stickers as well. Oh no.
It's got the old logo still on it. Now look at that. Around the outside, Mats Borg Anderson through the chase. Michael Blake's now got Fraser Smith pressurising him. Still side by side.
Matthew Crisp up the inside as well.
I want to see what happened to Crisp, actually. To be fair, Kevin Zemstra has just mentioned that in the chat. Let's have a look at what happened here. So Roman Bokler got the better of him into the final corner, and then up the top of the hill. So Michael Blake got the run. Mats Borg Anderson goes through just shortly after. Let's keep our eye on Matthew Crisp. Yeah, apologies, guys. Just trying to make sure you don't hear me drinking every so often.
Especially if it's Copperberg for inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked Peter if Ian had put him up to that. He said it's in his contract. It was just that. That's literally all it was. Matthew Crisp ran a little bit wide out of there, and whoa, that was strange. Back off a replay and pretty much in the same place. Now, Naveed Hussain has got one of his teammates in front of him again. Hopefully he doesn't hit this one out of the way. That is Lee Bowden. He's then got Mark Woodhouse right behind him. But he's not got a left wing mirror to see Mark in. Neither is his teammate Paul King, just a couple of positions ahead either. But a nice little battle going on here. Oh, whoa, that was close to the wall for Naveed. He certainly is just one of those drivers, isn't he, Peter, that's just always pushing no matter what.
Yeah, full attack. That's what being a touring car racer is all about, absolutely. Yeah, what is it? They say, first or fence. That's what we like to do. Yeah, no, bin it or win it, or win it or bin it. That's yeah, we like that. That's what it's all about. It's go hard or go home. You fill in whatever one you prefer. But we're on the cusp here of Corrington Guina is pulling off a treble here at Mount Panorama. In one night, he's won as many times at the mountain as Garth Tander and the great Dick Johnson.
That's a wonderful list to join, isn't it? But to be fair, I think he may also just become the first driver to ever do the treble here in this championship. I think he's won the first 2 before and then finished like 2nd or 3rd. But 333 is just about to win all 3 in Season 3. What a fantastic evening. Everybody, please, I don't do this often anymore, clap emojis in chat, please, for Corentin Guinez. What a night, son. What a way to come back to a championship that you are the reigning champion of. Win all 3 races. Damien Owen Harris finally gets his result that he deserves on the night. 2nd place. That was a good finish and a great drive indeed. Roman Bokler 3rd. Love the handbrake. 4th place for Mats Borg Anderson. 10 places gained for him, I must say. What a great drive. Norbert Leitner's gained 17 to finish 14th. Chris Danes, 20 places gained. Biggest mover in the field. Hats off to Chris. Great job, buddy. Really good job indeed. But wow.
Norbert Leitner, wow.
Yes.
Come through, that's a lot of work to get through to that. He's got his boots being pushed right in at the back there.
Indeed. I imagine... Oh, hey up. Dan Mould there. Or was that Dan Mould? I think it was the 85 in the background that was just giving it a bit of style points there. Ashley Gaffall. But what can you say about this lad? Corentin Guinez, mate. He's just the Leroy Elo of the Simracersworld TCR Championship. I mean, he's not quite mirrored it as much by winning it and then completely leaving, but to come back with that sort of performance is just insane.
Absolutely exceptional. Yeah, I mean, here at Bathurst to execute 3 perfectly pristine races, one after the other. It's almost robotic, and we think it's not just because he's French and Laurent Aiello was French. That is just the way that Laurent Aiello used to do it. It was annoying, wasn't it? He used to just go out at the front and just win all the time, and that's just what Guinez does. And yeah, really, really impressive. And like I say, it would be amazing to see. I tell you what, we'd be delighted to broadcast it here on Simracersworld TC TV. It would be great to see him at effectively a world level, because it's just a joy to watch this amazing skill from this young Frenchman.
Yeah, it's absolutely frightening stuff. I think that the Leroy Elo comparison is definitely the most apt one that we could have here on Simracersworld TV. But we'll go through the results of the final race of the night for you, and then we'll get some driver interviews and see what we can get up to after that. Corentin Guinez then wins all 3 races. Amazing stuff. Damien Harris finishes in 2nd position, with Roman Bokler in 3rd. Mats Borg Anderson finishing in 4th, and then Michael Blake, top 5 for Michael. He'll be very, very pleased with that. Matthew Crisp finishes in 6th, with Fraser Smith in 7th. Miguel Freitas is 8th, with Paul King 9th, and Lee Bowden in 10th. We then have Naveed Hussain and Mark Woodhouse, with Dan Mould and Norbert Leitner. Chris Danes was 15th, with Ben Hicks in 16th. Jessica Myers finishes 17th in the 117 machine, and Ashley Gaffall finishes 18th. We then have Jean-Louis Deschamps with Dean Timms in 20th, followed by Ryan Walker and PJ Claysons, with Matthias de Tige and Anders Lillejorde. Then it's Danny Fenning and Paul Godden, with Daniele Giudici and Craig Schill. Following him was Wayne Palmer with Jürgen Knockaert and Keanu Bourguignon, with Niles de Kuiper and Scott Malcolm, the Falkirk Flyer as Peter has dubbed him, the last car on the lead lap. Then Simtech cars pretty much. Scott Angelo, Bram Class and Neil Stevenson not making it to the end. Simracersworld Esports own Bod Boland and Anton Dupin finishing at the bottom of the pile. But to be honest, Peter, like you said there, Norbert Leitner and Chris Danes, what a fantastic final race those two had to come all the way through from the back of the field.
Absolutely. Yeah, really, really impressive to make those moves, get through here at Bathurst. It's so hard to overtake in most of the circuit when you've got your opportunities, both coming into Murray's and also maybe Hill Corner, Quarry Bend. Really, really tough to make those moves stick. So the guys like Norbert Leitner, for example, who made their way up through nearly half of the field and really was a bit out of place after that incident in race 2. Really, really impressive indeed.
Certainly was. It was a hell of a night and a very big challenge, but someone that rose to the challenge tonight in that final race, who I was very pleased to see do well after a tough evening in another league yesterday evening, is Michael Blake, my good friend. How are you this evening? You must be very pleased with the top 5.
I'm loving it. That feels like a win, because those guys that came through by me, they are seriously quick.
Yeah, they certainly do. They scare the lights out of us, and we've been comparing Corentin Guinness to Leroy Ello. People in the chat are going to get sick of it, but he was just flying. In the early stages, though, you had a great battle with Ben Hicks. You had Mats Borg Anderson in there as well. You had plenty going on, didn't you?
It was a fight right from the get-go. I felt I'd used up, or I'd used the best out of my tyres by sort of lap 6, and it was just that's why I sort of stopped fighting as hard and just sort of thought, right, try and ride it out and stay in the top 5, because fighting a bit too hard at the beginning. Should have been a little bit more patient, and I'd have had a little bit more pace towards the end.
I was going to say, the cars do tend to, over a 20-minute race, they do tend to go off in those last 5 minutes, don't they, when you're really pushing. And I know that this circuit can be a real killer on tyres because you have to work so hard to make sure you don't hit a wall. Did you find that overtaking was really difficult around here tonight? Because it seemed a lot of the guys had it pretty nailed.
Pretty good. If you're sensible, there's no point trying to overtake going up the mountain, because it's not going to happen. It's the only thing you're going to get is crashed. It's just about working out where you're quicker than someone, trying to get within point. If you can get within 0.3 of someone into Forest Elbow, you've got a good chance if you're brave on the brakes at the end of the straight.
Yeah, the chase certainly seemed like the place to do it. And of course, we saw you defending quite well into there as well. And you held off a lot of drivers in that one. Did you find that there was a specific place that nobody could do anything about it, or was it just try it at every single corner?
Just going into that chicane was just blind stupidity, really. It's like, you will not come past here. Wait for them to brake and hit the brakes as soon as I saw their car dip, and just hope it stopped. It nearly didn't a couple of times.
I was going to say, you went in a little bit hot once when we caught it on the broadcast, but then you made it work on the exit, which was great. And that's the thing, you've got to just give it a little bit like that sometimes, haven't you, to defend. But certainly looked like fun, mate. It's been an interesting start to the championship once again. We know how tough these sorts of series are. Doesn't get any easier next time, though, because we're going to the Nürburgring next time round for 2 30-minute races. How do you think you're going to fare there?
I quite like that track. It all depends on how well behaved everybody else wants to be. If everybody's sensible, we'll have good races, and you'll be able to make progress if you're quicker. You'll be able to fight people, but if people want to be a bit silly and try and fight too hard, it happens sometimes, then it can just cause big accidents, and you just got to make sure you miss one of those. I actually find it almost as dangerous as this place for getting the track blocked in the early laps if people aren't sensible.
Well, fingers crossed we don't see any of that, mate. But well done tonight. Great result in the top 5. Do you want to give anybody a quick shout out before you go?
You guys for the broadcast.
Thank you.
Everybody at Simracersworld for putting the league on. Team Mad, everybody there. Fanatec, Race Spot.
Who? You can't mention that here. I'm joking.
Oh.
That's all good, mate. It is all good. Well done again, though, Michael. Pleasure to speak to you as always, mate. And we'll see you next time round at the Nürburgring.
Take care, guys. See you later.
Cheers. We here at Simracersworld, we apologise for the language there used by Michael Blake. No, I'm just kidding. To be fair, though, Peter, he did do a solid job this evening of defending all that, didn't he? It's not easy, especially around here.
Definitely not, no. And to try and keep your car clean as sometimes it can be taken out of your hands, as Michael was kind of alluding to slightly there, is you've got to be really, really careful. And Bathurst is all about survival, and really, as we head forward to the Nürburgring next week, it's going to be very much the same thing again.
It will indeed, and we're going to have a quick chat with somebody that I've not spoken to in quite a while, it seems. Daniele Giudici joins us in the chat. Daniele, we didn't really catch too much of what was going on in your race there, but no matter what happened, everywhere we look, there always seemed to be a battle. Did you enjoy that?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, I threw off a really good position in race 3 because of a silly mistake. I'm glad that nobody got caught in my mistake. And then I tried to gain some position, bit of argy-bargy. At least it wasn't boring, let's say that way. Yeah,
definitely. It's always entertaining around here. I mean, even just qualifying alone in these cars around here is a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's just a nightmare. You have to be close to the wall but not kiss them. Otherwise you won't be quick, and you have to be considerate of the others. It's a really good track. It's a fun one.
It certainly separates the men from the boys and really gets everybody thinking. But another circuit that's going to do just that is the Nürburgring. Obviously, we're going to the Gesamtstrecke next time round, which is basically the Nordschleife and the Grand Prix circuit, but with a little bit of the arena cut out. It's a very strange combination. It's obviously going to be tough, but in terms of traffic management and just keeping it calm and level-headed during a race, do you think you're going to have the edge there?
Yes, absolutely. Nordschleife is a really long circuit. You need to be consistent. Keep in mind that you can lose a bit in the path and gain in the other, and just be considerate. Making a mistake is really easy there, and it can compromise your race and the others. So just be careful. I'm really hoping they give a little bit more length to the sixth gear. Otherwise, the long straight on the Nürburgring will be everybody on the limiter, not going like M35 on the Sunday, nobody overtaking each other.
It'll sound hilarious. That's when me and Peter can bust out the stereotypes as we see a wing mirror rolling down the hill in slow motion. But it's certainly going to be another fun round, mate. Well done, of course, for this evening. It looked like you had a lot of fun when we did manage to catch you in those battles. Is there anybody you want to give a quick shout out to, mate?
Well, usual to my team and my teammates, especially Danny. We managed to do another good result also tonight, despite a bit of bad luck. And Paul also had a bit of streak of bad luck on the second race. But we're getting there. They're new to the season. Try to give them tips and tricks on how to improve and how to get the best in our series, and they're enjoying it. So big shout to them. Big shout to you guys for the usual commentary. I'm just waiting to go and see the replay and see how fun it is as usual.
Oh,
and
always.
Then thanks to everyone to organise this league and keep us entertained.
Smashing. Nicely said, Daniele. Great to speak to you again, and hopefully we'll see you next time round at the Nordschleife.
Yeah, maybe somewhere in between some trees or something like that going off and around.
Love it, mate. Speak to you soon, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Such a sound guy is Daniele Giudici, man. He's such a hero. Always out there enjoying himself and getting involved in these races. But again, it just highlights the fact that it's not really a personal thing that we don't get to catch all of these battles, but there's just always something going on in this championship, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah, indeed. And I think Daniele Giudici, I feel we should have him to do the driver's briefing before, just because how could you be angry after listening to that guy talk? He's the happiest guy ever.
I know.
You know, 5 minutes. So look, guys, we're going to go and do some touring car racing, and we're going to have a whole load of fun. They'll be like, okay, Daniele, sounds good to me. That's what we need. They should bring him in for the British Touring Car Championship.
Very much so, yeah. You could probably. I was going to say, just chill everybody out a little bit. We will grab a very quick word with Craig Schill, who was out there running this evening in the very bright fluoro yellow iRacing UK machine. Craig, that looked like a real sort of procession a little bit further down the field. How did you find it, mate?
It was I love this track. It's now one of my favourites.
It's very lively, isn't it, in this car, especially front-wheel drive. You know, GT3 cars usually launched around here quite a lot, but when it's front-wheel drive, those crests and the dips all over the circuit become something very different, don't they? I think we may have just lost Craig from the chat there.
No,
oh no, he's there. I was just saying, mate, the front-wheel drive aspect around this circuit, it's just a very, very odd combo, isn't it? The back end wants to break out all the time.
It's what caught me out in race 1, race 1 or 2, I think it was. I was fighting with Niles, and I went for a little bit of a look up the inside and hit the brakes, and the back end just went fight.
Easy to do, though. Easy to do. How did you find it in the pack as well? Because we know that you have to adjust your lines, adjust your braking, adjust everything, really, all of your inputs when you're following a car. But when there's such little visibility and little room for error around here, when you can't see quite where the apexes are, the walls, how difficult is it to adjust like that over the course of a race?
For me, considering that's probably the first race I've actually been in the pack, I don't know how I missed Scott when he had his little bit of a slide going into the big tight corner at the end. It was just, I don't know how I missed him, but yeah, it is. You've got to kind of second guess everybody.
Yeah, definitely. You have to judge it bit by bit, don't you, where every car is going to move if someone loses it. I mean, we saw, I think it was Dan Mould tonight, you know, got on the brakes, tried to avoid an incident straight away, but it was just as he went down Skyline and the back end went around, and it's not always as easy as just getting on the brakes, is it?
No. And you kind of want to push the brakes even harder, and then that just makes it slide, and you end up just turning 90 degrees going in a straight line.
Indeed.
But yeah, that was a good ride. I enjoyed that race. Broke into the top 20 as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I did.
Quite chuffed with that, actually.
I'm not surprised, mate. I mean, you've not been on iRacing very long at all, and you know it's all a big learning curve all the time, and it's great to see you making that progress indeed. And of course, in a wonderful livery by my mate James. But
Yes, he's done himself proud again.
he has indeed. Now, next time round, we go to Nürburgring on the Gesamtstrecke layout of the Nordschleife. So we've got a little bit of the Grand Prix circuit with the arena section cut out, but we are still doing the Nordschleife, 2 30-minute races. Do you think that what you've learned this evening from Bathurst can be applied around there?
Yes, because I've learned to actually keep it in the white lines. And just every time I get in the car and drive it a bit more, I'm learning how it acts and how it reacts to me putting inputs into the pedal. So hopefully, yeah.
Always good then.
Practice.
Yeah, definitely. That is the aim of the game around there. Well done tonight, though. Smashing results, get inside the top 20, mate. And before we go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Guess Bart for putting on this league, yourselves for doing the coverage, obviously iRacing UK community who I joined, which has helped me a lot with my racing craft, James for doing the livery, and my family for watching.
Smashing stuff. Nicely said, Craig. Great to speak to you again, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
Speak to you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well, Peter, another evening rounded out in this fantastic championship. A load of fun again at Bathurst, but Corentin Guinez, what a guy. 3 out of 3 on his return to the series. Doesn't get much better, does it?
No, definitely not, and it's quite ominous for the rest of the pack. I bet they didn't like the sight of him rolling into the paddock. Thought they'd have to be able to do without him. But I was listening earlier on to an interview with Hurley Haywood, the great Hurley Haywood, the greatest long distance racing driver of all time, and he said that when he used to race for Brumos Porsche in the early 70s, they used to demoralize their competition by, in those days you could speed, well, there was no speeding limit in the pit lane, and they used to, when you leave the pit lane, they used to leave absolutely on the limiter to effective as an intimidation tactic. And whenever they rolled into a paddock, they thought, oh well, second's the best we can do today. And Corentin's starting to, in his own quiet way, he's starting to have that kind of ominous effect. When we know he's on the starting grid, you know it's going to take a heck of an effort to stop him. And but places like the Nürburgring Nordschleife, well, it can throw up all kinds of circumstances. So we'll definitely want to tune in for next week.
Yeah, indeed. Really, really looking forward to that one. Should be a lot of fun, mate. But thank you again for joining me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And, of course, everyone that does all of the very hard work behind the scenes in this championship. It certainly has been a lot of fun. Thank you again, Peter MacKay. Absolute joy as ever. My name is Chaz Draycott. This has been the Simracersworld TCR Series from Bathurst. We will see you in a week's time at the Nürburgring. Have a great night, everyone.